All right. So I'd like to call together our meeting for the Zoning Board of Appeals, our regular meeting of Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. Let's do our roll call to confirm we have a quorum. I'm Steve Antonio, Chair. Joanne Hogan, hello. Mark Freeman,
Hello.
Ram Kaza,
Hi.
Josh Mickelson,
Hello.
and that is our board, I believe. So we do have a quorum. Sharon, are you an applicant or one of our new members, Sharon Thomas?
I am ZBA. I'm a member.
Okay, cool. Welcome. I'm so sorry, but welcome to the board. I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, so moving right along, let's get into application 21-07 of Kristen and Matthew Diamond, owner applicants for a variance pursuant to the Simsbury zoning regulations, section 3.5.1, to construct a 12-foot by 16-foot shed within the front yard at the property located at 11 Pettibone Drive. So normally we have one of you present, Kristen or Matthew. Would one of you like to tell us exactly what you're asking for and the hardship, please?
Sure. I'm happy to do so. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Diamond. I'm the owner and resident at 11 Pettibone Drive. The house is the only house on Pettibone Drive, even though it's number 11, a little bit of a misnomer. The house sits on an irregular double corner lot. It abuts town-owned property in front of it. And the property itself is rectangular, so the backyard is quite narrow. And pursuant to Simsbury zoning regulation 3.5.1, that prohibits construction of a shed in the front yard of the property, the only place we would be able to put a shed presently is directly behind the plane of the house. So leading into the property, there's a hammerhead driveway that comes in on the Springbrook Lane side of the property and presents the ideal location to put a shed. The property, we wouldn't need any variance from the distances. And the only variance we're requesting is a variance from 3.5.1 to be able to put that shed at the end of the hammerhead driveway. We did consider an alternate placement directly behind the plane of the house, but given the narrow, the 12-foot setback and the narrow width of that portion of the property, which is visible in the photos that we attached to the application, the ramp to any shed would extend to the patio, and it would be difficult and perhaps even dangerous to move a lawn tractor or other similar equipment to and from that structure. There are no non-conforming structures presently on the property. Aesthetically, the shed would match the color and style of the primary residence. So white vinyl with black shutters, and would be behind the line of the house, meaning that it would be set back in what would be the backyard if it wasn't a double corner lot. Thank you.
Actually, I think you're a triple corner lot, aren't you? Well, technically a triple front yard.
Right.
Triple
Front yard. Right.
So that's I got to be honest, I've been here for years now. It's the first time I've met somebody that had 3 front yards. So congratulations.
Yeah.
For a real achievement.
Didn't know when we bought it.
It's a nuance, honestly, and I do get it. I personally don't have any questions because it seems so self-explanatory, the hardship. Joanne, do you have any questions?
I don't really have any questions. I'm actually familiar with that neighborhood because I used to babysit in that neighborhood and we used to walk that neighborhood, and your property is actually very private despite being exposed on 3 sides. So it's actually a lovely piece of property. It is just an unusual situation, and we have that zoning reg, no sheds in the front yard, kind of for obvious reasons, but all of your documentation was very clear and the photos were very, very helpful. So I don't really have any specific questions, to be honest with you.
All right, Josh, how about you?
Yeah, no, I think this might be one of the most clear-cut ones I've seen so far. I've got nothing to add here. No questions.
Ram?
Yeah, same with me. It's very self-explanatory.
All right, Mark?
Maybe I didn't look in the file, but I was just curious about the people that are. It doesn't look like they're even really close to you. It is very private, like Joanne said. So I agree. I think it's very straightforward, and I don't think anybody's going to be affected at all. And your hardship is clear. So
And they did have a letter from one neighbor that was absolutely in support of it. So that's
perfect.
helpful to us to know that.
If I may, my neighbor is also in attendance tonight on the call.
Oh, okay. Is that Kristen?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I
Thank
saw
you
that
for
letter
coming.
too.
Thank you for
File.
coming.
She's muted.
Yeah, you're muted, Kristen, but your letter was very clear and we appreciate you supporting them.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry.
Sharon, do you have any questions?
No.
Sharon, you're on mute.
No, I don't have any questions like everyone else has said. I thought, for the review, I thought it was really clear cut. And I think it's nice that she also came to support the neighbor.
That's good. All right, so moving this right along, I'd like to close the application. So, Matt, this just means that we talk amongst ourselves. You presented, and your packet honestly is, you get like an A+ for homework. It's so broken out so well. Attaboy. Sorry. But, so with that being said, we can deliberate amongst ourselves, and I'll just start with reiterating what I think most of the commissioners here have said, that it's a pretty, you have 3 front yards. There's such an apparent hardship, and the willingness of your neighbor to not only endorse it, but to show up counts substantially for me. Does anyone else have any deliberation points that they'd like to mention?
No.
All right, everyone is shaking their head no, so I'm going to just move it quickly along. Would someone else like to make the motion? I just want to point out, when you make the motion, you do have to explain the hardship and any limitations on what we are granting the applicant. Is anyone up for that? Anyone named Joanne?
I'll do it. So I would like to make a motion to approve application 21-07 of Kristen and Matthew Diamond, owner applicant for a variance pursuant to the Simsbury zoning regulations, section 3.5.1, to construct a 12 by 16 shed within the front yard at the property located at 11 Pettibone Drive, zone R40. With the hardship being that this is a lot that has actually 3 front yards and no space in the very narrow backyard that would be a reasonable place to put a shed that would be accessible. And the limitation I would put on it is to make sure that, as stated in their paperwork, they're staying within all of the setback requirements of our zoning regs.
And who would like to second that motion? Sharon's on the board. Hold on, Ron. Let Sharon have it.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? It's unanimous. You are granted your variance. Thank you for taking the time for both your efforts and stopping by. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
everyone's time.
We appreciate it.
Have a great.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Night. All right, moving right along, our next application is application number 21-08 of Richard and Sandra Taylor, owner applicants, for a variance pursuant to Simsbury zoning regulations, section 4.5, to permit 3 apartments at the property located at 24 through 26 Main Street. It's also known as 20 Main Street. Is someone here to present on behalf of the applicant?
Richard Taylor is here. He's on the telephone call. I'm just trying to get him off mute right now. Bear with me 1 second. There.
It still shows muted on my end.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Taylor?
Hello?
There
Yes,
he is.
it's me.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Great, thank you. Could you give us a rundown of what you're trying, what you're asking for as far as a variance and the hardship, please?
Yes, this leaves handy. I own a piece of property in Terriffill at 24 and 26 Main Street. I've owned it for a little more than 30 years. I'm in the process of retiring. I'm 78 years old, and we have a buyer for the property. And when they were digging into the files, they found that it's listed as a 2-family, not a 3-family. And it's been a 3-family for 30 plus years that I've owned it. I called the fire marshal when I heard that this was a 2-family and I had to change it to 3. And speaking with the fire marshal, he felt that everything was in compliance except he wanted a hard-wired fire system put in there, which meant he wanted hardwire for the CO and the smoke detector. I contacted United Electric Service to take care of this. I have a permit number, which is E-21-0922. In the time of me owning this for 30 plus years, I've had 3 appraisals done on the property, and every time I had it appraised, it came back as a 3-family. So I guess in order for me to be able to sell the property, I need from the board to be able to convert this 2-family into a 3-family. Everything in the area right around me, for example, across the street on Main Street, there's a 7-family apartment building. To the south of this building, there's a 4-family upstairs. Further south, there's a 3-family. So in the immediate area, it goes along with everything else that's in the immediate area.
Okay, if I could ask you a couple of questions.
You
Does
sure can.
all 3 apartments have their own kitchen and bathroom?
They have their own kitchen, they have their own bathroom, they have their own exits, egress, and so forth.
That was my next question. Cool. I'm glad you got that checked off. And not to overkill it, but the bathrooms are full bathrooms, correct?
That's correct. They have tubs and showers in all 3 of them.
Okay.
I have tenants, actually. One tenant lives upstairs, been there for almost as long as I own the place, 28 years. So.
Cool.
So it was a 3-family when you purchased it? It was already set up that way?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, when I saw this application, I was a little bit confused. I thought, it was a 2-family building and they're trying to, build a 3rd one to convert it to 3-family. So I didn't know that it's already a 3-family one.
So just for clarification, though, it's 2 families on the 1st floor and just 1/3 apartment is the 2nd floor. Is that correct?
Yes, on the 3rd floor, it's a 3-bedroom apartment with a single individual living up there. And on the 1st floor, there's 2 1-bedroom apartments, kitchen, bedroom, living room, bathroom.
So apartment 2 has more than 1 room, right? Because the sketch just shows apartment 2 as like a section of a building.
No, they're all separate buildings. It's separate rooms, separate. The kitchen has, I believe both kitchens have fireplaces in them, not working fireplaces. Living room have fireplaces in them, not working. And a full bedroom and a full bath.
Are all 3 apartments occupied right now?
They are. Am I getting rent for all 3? Well, no. because of the coronavirus, but
But they're all have leases
they
on
are
them.
they are occupied.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
And are you breaking these out, or is 20 Terriffill Road, does that encompass the 3 properties, or there are 3 different properties there, just for clarification?
Well, what it is I own 20 and 22. I own 24 and 26, which is what's in question, and I own 28 and 30. It was 3 separate pieces of property, but I don't know, I would say 15, 17 years ago, I went for a variance for the Cracker Barrel pub. And when I did get the variance, they made me include it as one parcel of property.
So Laura, perhaps you could clarify this point. Can we issue a variance for just part of a property once it's been consolidated?
So the technical address on this property is 20. There is a site plan on it. It's just the individual living spaces that have these separate mailing addresses that are broken out that way. But if you look on the field card, it is one parcel.
Okay, so he's selling, Rich, you're selling it as one parcel and you're keeping the other 2 parcels. Is that correct?
I'm selling it. I'm selling the whole parcel,
The whole thing.
which is the 3 buildings.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. But Laura, it's cool that we just do the variance just for 24, 26. All right. That's a professional word, being cool.
Of course.
Sorry.
I like that.
You were a child of the 70s.
Okay, because this is still our open discussion time, who has a question for Mr. Taylor?
So, Mr. Taylor, basically, you're just getting paperwork organized in order to sell it. Is that the issue?
Exactly. Actually, I was scheduled for a closing last month, and of course, that had to get delayed because
Okay.
of getting this variance. But that's all it is. I mean,
Okay.
nothing's going to be changed. It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
I just have a quick question. You said the hardwired fire alarms, are those in or those are being put in?
They're being put in as we speak.
Okay.
And like I say, I gave it a permit. So obviously, the buying party, they would not go along with this unless, because this is quite an expensive thing to do, unless I had it done. So hopefully it'll probably be done in a couple of days, maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
So can I ask, do you have a CEO for the property as it stands now? It's not going to get you in trouble if you haven't. I'm just asking as a point of reference. Is there one?
Now, when you see a CEO,
Certificate of
I
occupancy.
have a permit. I have a permit if that's what you mean. Well, I don't even have it. The electrician has it.
Yeah, that's no worries. But Patrick Torvo is okay with it being operated as a 3-family, to cut to the chase, our fire marshal?
I'm sorry.
So the fire marshal, who is Patrick Torvo, that's the person you spoke with?
That's correct. And when I spoke to him, I asked him about it, and he says, I'm familiar, quote, I'm familiar with the property. His big concern, I think, was each apartment had their own egress. Is that what I want to say?
Yeah.
Entrance and so forth. He said, but the only problem that I would have is I would like to have the fire system changed in there versus a battery operated device that's in the bedrooms and in the living room. So therefore, that's why I'm having this hardwired with a smoke detector and a combination of a CO detectors as well.
Okay, but if that's the only hurdle, that's great. That's, I'm not trying to belabor it. Did you by chance run it by our building inspector? Does that matter, Laura, whether Henry signs off on it, or what's that implication?
He's going to do his own safety checks. If each property and each apartment gets their CO, I believe this property was CO'd. there seems to be a bit of confusion on what happened. It was approved as a variance for 2 apartments instead of 3. I'm not quite sure when it was converted to the 3 apartments. And we have no permits on the work that was done to convert it. So they,
And
I
it's been
don't
like
know what,
that for, I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. I don't know what due diligence was done by the buying party.
That's okay. We can make this contingent. I'm not speaking for or against it, but as a matter of record, we are going to put limitations onto anything we would consider anyways. So, the building inspector signing off and the fire marshal sign off seems like that's an automatic gimme. Our role is more in the zoning aspect, obviously. We're not going to ultimately decide anything beyond our scope. Who else has a question for Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
I don't. I'm kind of just listening and learning here because I'm a little I'm a little green on this kind of subject, but it does seem like, just to echo what you said, Steve, is that if the fire marshal was on board with this, then I'm good with it.
Okay, Ram, any questions?
No, like you said, I'm wondering, should we, basically it's a contingent approval based on the building inspector and fire marshal's, approval later.
I think we do have to take them into account. But that's no reason to block it beyond the,
Okay.
From the zoning aspect. I think it is somewhat consistent with the buildings
Okay.
in that area. Being familiar with it, it's all multifamily right there on that
Okay.
Main Street and the extension. Josh, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Sharon?
No questions for me either.
All right, then with that being said, I'd like to close the application. Mr. Taylor, that just means that we are going to talk about amongst ourselves and deliberate, but you are more than welcome to listen in. I'm sure you want to. But we will now deliberate amongst ourselves and possibly put forth a motion, including any hardships and or limitations. So that being
I
said,
appreciate it.
it's our pleasure. Thank you very much for taking the time to be with us tonight.
Thank you so much for hearing my case.
So as I mentioned, also being, a Terrifil alumni for many years, it's consistent with the character of the neighborhood. I don't think he's asking for a new thing. I was originally, for lack of better terminology, put off because I thought he was asking to make a 3-family out of a 2-family, but now finding out that's more writing an oversight, or rather clarifying something for a buyer, I'm much more inclined to say this is understandable. That's the way I'm leaning. Who's got some deliberation here?
I'm thinking that when he purchased it, it was already converted into a 3-family, it sounds like. So whoever owned it before him did this prior to his purchase of it. So after this 1989 date, at some point, somebody made it into a 3-family, but it sounds like as long as our building and fire marshals are willing to sign off on the safety aspects of it, I think he's tidying up his paperwork so he can sell it. So I don't think he's not changing the property. He's actually fixing something that needs to be fixed before he sells it. So.
And he's anteing up. It's costing him, this
Right.
is something he wants to do. It's something he has to
And
do.
he's making the building safer and bringing it up to code in regard to the wiring. So the fact that he purchased it as a 3-family and has maintained it and has long-standing tenants says something to me about his that he's a good landlord. He's got tenants who stay. So that says something as well.
All right, Josh, what do you got?
I really have nothing to add that hasn't been said already.
All right, fair enough. Ram?
I'm good, Stephen. I don't have
Aye.
anything to add.
Thank you, Mark.
Nothing to add, Stephen.
All right, and Sharon?
Nothing to add. It's just kind of funny how this wasn't caught before, right?
It's a closed property. They don't traditionally inspect our apartments, although it would be nice. It's not usually in the purview of our fire marshal. He does commercial structures.
Okay.
These border on residential, so it doesn't get the same annual inspection.
Okay.
All right. So I'm inclined to suggest one of us makes a motion that the hardship is, I don't know, the hardship is pre-existing conditions. Joanne, you're on mute.
The hardship is that he purchased it as a 3-family,
Mhm.
and it has been operating as that with long-standing tenants. It would be disruptive to these tenants if suddenly it could not be used for that anymore. And it seems to meet all the requirements of individual dwellings. He just needs to upgrade the wiring. He's got egresses, he's got full bathrooms and kitchens in all of the units. So, and it is in character with Terriffill. It's one of the great things about Terriffill. So, I think that that's the hardship. He purchased a property and has been able to use it as such for 20 years. And
30 years, actually.
there's not a clear reason to change that at this point if he's willing to upgrade the wiring.
Okay, so I'll make a motion if that's okay. I'd like to make a motion to, I should have said I'd make the motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve a variance for application 21-0. No, I'm on the wrong page. I am so sorry.
08, go to 08.
Lost my agenda. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve application 21-08 for variance pursuant to Simsbury zoning regulations, section 4.5, to permit 3 apartments at the property located at 24 through 26 Main Street, aka 20 Main Street. The owner purchased the property with the understanding that it was a 3-family. He maintained it as a 3-family, and any disruption of this would displace the tenants that are presently there and fully occupied. I'd like to put the limitation on this variance that it is pending approval by not only the fire marshal, but also a full CO from our building inspector, that it is in compliance with all building ordinances. Would someone like to second it?
I'll second.
All right. Josh got off mute first. Sorry, Joanne. All right. All those in favor? Aye.
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 All right. You can see against is no one and abstain is no one. So it's unanimous. The variance is granted. Thank you very much, Richie. I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you very much, and everybody on the board. Thank you so much.
Good luck with the sale.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So moving right along, when I find my thing, our next item on the agenda, number 4, is the approval of the minutes from our April 28th meeting. I did find one thing. Does someone else want to point it out? Did anyone else do their homework? Allie Rice is both present as an alternate and absent. So she can't be both. She's either here or not.
He's talented, but not that talented.
She was present, just for clarification, so she needs to be removed from the absent list. Wasn't that good? I did find a couple punctuation errors that we will just skip right over. However, on line 119, it's a double line that we should probably remove everything after zone SCZ, and pretty much line 120 in its entirety should be removed. It's just redundant. It's a small nuance, but might as well make it make sense. That's all I found. Did anyone else find anything that they felt is in error?
I think I'm looking at a different one because mine doesn't list Allie as being absent.
For April 28th, or are you looking at the March 28th minutes?
April 28th, 2021. I'm looking at the one on the website. I don't know if that's different than...
There were two in our Dropbox, Laura. I don't know why there were two.
Josh is right. If you look at the one on the website, it says absent nobody.
All right, mine says Sharon and Stacy were both absent as well as Allie. Laura, what do we do?
I am looking to see which one was uploaded into the Dropbox.
There's two in the Dropbox.
And they're the same date?
But they're different forms. Let me minimize this and see if I can bring it up.
I would go off the one on the website then, because that's the one that's posted.
Okay, that works for me. You're
I
right. One
apologize
of
for
them
that.
says subject to approval. Interesting. The other one is like a final version. I didn't catch that.
Okay, so if we're going off the one on the website, then I think Sharon needs to be added as absent.
Sharon, when were you appointed not to say it?
I've been on for a while. It's just that it was conflicting with meetings.
I think she was elected the same time I was.
I was.
So you chose to avoid us?
I not purposely. Honestly.
Well, now
I
that
mean,
you've met us, we have to be at the top of your meeting list. So.
exactly.
I just never got a better offer. So that's why I'm here. All right. With that being said, we approve I make a motion that we approve the minutes of April 28th, 2021.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Against, abstain, or nothing. So it's unanimous. We do pass it. Sharon, I'd like to say once again, welcome to our board in person. We look forward to conversing with you.
Yes.
Laura is our liaison, so anything you
I've
need,
talked to Laura.
well, then you talk to the one that can make it happen. So
Yeah. So Laura, you'll keep us updated as to whether these are going to become in person in the summer?
Absolutely. I'm hoping to find out then by the end of the week, at the very latest next week, on what's happening, or at
Does
least
it
get
look
an
like that? Does it look like there's any applications yet for next month? Yes.
I believe there will be.
Okay. Good. We like to be busy.
And also, as a side note, I spoke with Laura myself. There's a couple items you might have seen in our Dropbox. That one was from 2018, and there were some zoning updates. A previous town planner, Jamie Rabbit, had put this stuff up, and it's been there for, not to say 5 years. So I asked Laura to just clean up our Dropbox of nothing that is pertinent and relevant as of 2021 be removed. So if you see those disappear, that was the reason. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to read those at this point. That leaves us with one last item, number 5, adjournment. Who would like to make a motion? Sharon, how about you? It's your first meeting.
Sure. I make a motion that we adjourn for the evening.
All those in, I need someone to second.
I
I'll
second.
second.
All right, Ty, Laura, pick one of them. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
There's no one to be against or abstain, so it's unanimous. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.